Hi, I'm Claudia, and welcome to the Build Now podcast. We're here sharing powerful stories of families and kids facing incredible challenges, giving you the chance to meet the amazing individuals you're supporting and hear their stories firsthand. In each episode, we have heartfelt conversations discussing real and raw experiences and show you the true impact of your generosity. Our goal is simple: to inspire hope, raise awareness, and keep building a brighter future for those who need it most. And today we're joined with Bree. Hi, Bree. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really, really appreciate you being here and opening up to us and telling us about your journey with your son, Ari. So thank you. It's been so lovely learning about Ari through obviously the Build Now Foundation. And from everything I've seen, he's such a bright and funny little kid. I haven't actually met him, but he does seem really beautiful. From his love of online games and the way he lights up every room with his smile, it's clear that he's got a spirit that's impossible just not to admire. Even with all the challenges that he faces, Ari approaches life with such energy and humour, and I think that's something really special that we can all learn from. But to start us off, could you tell us, maybe a little bit about your family and how this journey sort of first began for you?
Yeah, sure. So, Ari's our second son. So he's got an older brother called Ashton, and we had them pretty close together in age. Ari's 10 and Ashton's 11. He'll be turning 12 next month. It was just us and our two boys, and the journey of like kind of medical diagnosis and that sort of stuff that sort of started. So when Ari was about 20 months old, so before his second birthday, he wasn't sort of meeting those developmental milestones and that sort of thing. And so we sort of had some early intervention, seeing sort of different therapists and bits and pieces, just like his head was sort of a little bit floppy and like didn't stand, didn't
speak,
crawl. Speaking was totally fine.
Okay.
But like anything sort of physical, like tummy time, he wouldn't raise his head. And so even though when he was born, his APGAR test was like normal, like any other child, it was pretty apparent from sort of maybe like 6 months that I was like, okay, compared to his brother, there are some things that are just sort of like not quite meeting what we've experienced before.
Or a little bit slower.
Yeah, a little bit slower. And so then we're like, well, maybe he's just like a lazy little dude. Like, he's just going to get there when he gets there. You hear of kids not walking until 3 and, things like that. And so we kind of didn't worry too much. But when sort of other professionals sort of started going, hey, like you probably want to go like research this a little bit more or start getting some testing done and stuff, we were like, okay, maybe we need to take it a bit more seriously. So sort of went on that journey of does he potentially have cerebral palsy or, all of these sorts of things. And so he had like kind of a myriad of different testing done, genetic testing, and, we met with all of the what are they called, pediatric sort of team at what was then Princess Margaret Hospital. And they were sort of like, look, based off of what we can see of him, we think he might have spinal muscular atrophy, but until we have the genetic testing back, like we're not going to know. And so we kind of went away going, oh, okay, so he has this potential like disease called SMA. And it was like, so we started researching that and, it was pretty traumatic.
Can imagine,
kind of going through and just preparing ourselves for what kind of treatment is there, or is there treatment at all? What kind of support groups are there? No one in our family has this history.
Just diving into something completely unknown to you.
Completely unknown. And so, we spent that period, and then 6 weeks later they were like, come in, like we've got the results. And then they were like, oh, by the way, he doesn't have that SMA. He's actually got a really rare type of muscular dystrophy.
Wow.
And so,
And what was your sort of initial reaction to that diagnosis?
Well, we kind of, it was like we re-grieved sort of, because like we knew it was something, but we were told like it couldn't be muscular dystrophy because of the type of proteins, like the level count.
Right.
But what it is it's just not, he doesn't have your more common types, so like Becker or Duchenne, they're sort of a more common type muscular dystrophy. And so it's just the the severity
yeah,
of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, how we reacted was, obviously a little bit devastated, but we were just like, okay, it is what it is. Like, you can't change it. And so we straight away found that there was a group called, at the time, Muscular Dystrophy Western Australia. We reached out to them and we were just like, help. Like,
wow. So you were really strong from the get-go. Like, you knew we just need to reach out and ask for help.
Yeah, because I think community and like connection is super important.
Yeah.
And like not feeling like we're doing this on our own. Like, they're the people, they're already helping a lot of families. And so, yeah, with like both the medical help from the hospital and then that community help, we found that to be really great.
In those early days, like obviously once Ari was first diagnosed, did you have any challenges as a family? Like, what were the first initial sort of changes and challenges you went through?
I think, being told that your child's never going to walk or, be able to do all of the things that a normal child or a typical, normal child will do was really hard. It still is to some degree. Like, the things that you take for granted, just going to a playground, like a local playground or whatever it might be, like they're the types of things that we just don't do. We kind of avoid doing those sorts of things.
Try to focus on what you can do, then those things you can't do.
Exactly. And then as Ari gets older, then he'll also be like, oh, I wish I could do that. And it's like, yeah, I know it sucks, mate, but like, you know, it could be worse.
Exactly. It always can be worse. That's the thing.
Always can be worse. And so, we try not to have too much of a like victim mentality about it. And just, just sort of get through it.
That's really good. Yeah. So you said that, so obviously this diagnosis, it impacts his walking. He can't walk.
Yeah.
So how did that sort of like your day to day? So he was at the time, how old? 20?
So yeah, he was about 20 months or 22 months. I can't remember. It was before his second birthday.
Yeah.
And so we very quickly like advocated for him to get a little wheelchair. It was called a Whizzy Bug. It was like this little tiny little wheelchair.
Yeah.
And so the NDIS to begin with were like, no. But I was like, and we kind of rebutted that and said, well, any other 2-year-old is out exploring. Surely he should have the opportunity to go out and explore just like every other toddler.
100%.
And so then they ended up like funding the hire of this little chair, and it just gave him so much freedom, like any other child, to sort of go out and explore. And so, yeah, as long as we were sort of able to get around with him. You were that was the most important thing in that moment. And what were some of the most memorable moments or achievements that have really given you hope, in those early days that you saw that in Ari that made it easier to sort of say, yeah, we can do this, we've got this? Anything that stands out? Probably just his personality and just, he is always smiling. He is always engaging with other children, and I don't think he sort of seems to let it define him. He doesn't let it get him down. Like, obviously, there'll be some times where he's like, oh, I wish I could go to that birthday party, but it might be at like one of them jumping trampoline places,
really physical, those really play group places.
But he focuses on the things that he can do, and and he's got a great friend group and, a really good supportive school.
That's amazing to hear. I'm so happy to hear that. He seems like he's mature beyond his years. That's what I get from him.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
he
really
is like
mature.
it's like he's an old soul.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, he is. And you mentioned before that there were like community groups that you joined in the early days, right, when you found out about his diagnosis.
Yep.
What were those groups like, or how did that help you?
Yeah, so we're still like massively involved today. So they've actually changed their name. They were called Muscular Dystrophy WA, and now they're called Neuromuscular WA because there's a larger umbrella of sort of neuromuscular conditions that they support and have always supported. Like SMA is actually one of them.
Right.
And so we find them amazing. They run all sorts of programs like camp. They'll run carers programs, female, male, sometimes like couples type ones.
Oh, nice.
And then programs for younger children, for like teenage children, and then for like the adults and stuff too.
Right,
and
so they really tailor their programs to the age group and what that kid needs.
Exactly. And so that's just, I think, super important. They'll also do grants and that type of thing for kids, they wanting something that the NDIS can't fund or whatever it might be. So they're a really, really supportive and kind of just loving, caring group of people.
That's great. Have you found that also speaking to parents that have gone through maybe similar situations has helped you as well?
Definitely. And we've also, on the flip side, we've been there for newer families when they've kind of come into the fold of the club that you don't want to join. And that's really nice as well. It's really nice to kind of be able to give back and go like, hey, you're not alone. Like,
you're not alone.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing from, my discussions with other parents is that it can be so isolating in the beginning that having just someone else to talk to and go, it's going to be okay. We've gone through this, knowing that you're not alone can really help mentally during such a difficult time.
Definitely. And like there's ups and downs and, you ride the wave, but like, having support and knowing that there are people that you can talk to and people who've done it before or going through it at the same time. It's really helpful.
Has it sort of like impacted I guess he was really young when he was diagnosed, but has his diagnosis impacted your day-to-day life in major ways?
Or 100%. I mean,
So how has it impacted you?
Well, I guess having a child that can't feed himself, I mean, you have to put him to the table. He can kind of help a little, but he fatigues quite quickly. And so, toileting, getting changed. I mean, it's like, he sort of never moved past that sort of baby stage where you're kind of helping them at that age.
Yeah, I understand.
So it definitely impacts us. I mean,
he loses a little bit of his independence.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess it's like it just never changed. So it feels like our normal. But we know it's not the normal for most people. But it's just a part of our daily routine, and you just do it.
And you work as a team, and you get it done, and it becomes your new normal, and it's all up here.
Yeah.
So what does, I guess, a typical day look like for you and Ari, or look like for Ari from when he wakes up to, his schooling, etc.?
Yeah, sure. We have it's the same routine pretty much every day, but wake him up for school. I'll sort of sit him in, he's got like a beanbag chair thing that he sits in, so he's at a good angle. He'll drink a supplement drink in the morning, and then we'll get him, toileted and changed and stuff for school. We do showering in the nighttime. He'll go off to school. Usually he will, he won't walk, but his mates will walk. They'll go together. He doesn't necessarily, unless it's raining, he doesn't get dropped off. He kind of goes with friends.
Nice.
And then he's at school. His dad will pick him up, or he'll walk home with his friends, and then he does a bit of gaming.
Yeah, he does love gaming, doesn't he?
Loves gaming. He's very connected with his friends. I think children these days are just so onto it.
So connected. It's like you don't even have to explain to them how to do things. They just learn themselves.
They just know. They don't, he's probably more onto it than I am. Yeah. Connects with his friends, and and then we'll usually have dinner together, and we'll watch a movie, and, showers. We've got a spa out the back, so we'll quite often have a shower.
A spa,
like a
spa. It's great to hear. It sounds like you're all really close.
Yeah. And he does also like aquatic therapy as well.
Okay.
So he does that once a week, which he loves.
Has that really helped him, like, with his condition as well? Yeah.
It has. It just helps with like joint mobility, and obviously you have the ability to kind of stretch out a bit more in a pool, because he's always in a seated position, so he's quite like he can't really straighten out because he's always like in that sort of 90 degree.
That 90 degree,
And so I think the water just really allows for like his muscles just to sort of relax a bit, which is really great.
The Build Now Foundation built organised like a hydrotherapy pool as well for a little girl named Delphi. And that's been a huge change to her life, and really made it. So that's so good to hear. And you mentioned before, like, he's obviously got a great friend group, which is amazing. Has the school been really supportful, and have you found they've been a good help?
They've been incredibly supportive. So this school was only built, Ari did his first year of schooling at Caversham Primary School, which is sort of around the corner, and then they built this one, but this is like walking distance from our house. And so we were a part of kind of like the steering committee of that school. So we kind of got to know the principal and their leadership team ahead of time. And they made a lot of like wider footpaths and everything.
Oh, wow.
Like as a result of knowing that they were going to have a child with a wheelchair at the school. So there are so many accessible bathrooms, and
That's fantastic.
Yeah, the more recent playground that they put in is also like quite accessible as well. So, yeah, the school have been incredible, and he's kind of paved that way for any children in the future that might be in a wheelchair at that school. Like it's all set up. Like their second level has a lift and stuff as well. So.
That is incredible, because that is one thing that you don't hear a lot about schools doing, like really catering to kids that might have a disability or maybe special needs, and like factoring in making their school a little bit more accessible. And so that's really good. Yeah. And Ari's paved the way for that.
Definitely. Definitely.
That's great.
Yeah.
And what kinds of support have been most helpful to your family during this journey? Like, has it been through school? Like, do you find that community or family? Have you found any particular main areas of support?
It would be through Neuromuscular WA more than anything. So having that sort of community group support, those guys have been probably the biggest supporting thing. Obviously, we do have an incredibly supportive family, which all live in Western Australia, which is we're so grateful to that. We've got hands-on grandparents and stuff like that, that haven't shied away from. So not only does Ari have a medical condition, our elder son, he's type 1 diabetic. So yeah, we hit the genetic lottery.
Okay.
They don't shy away from either of our kids and their unique sort of medical conditions.
Oh, that's amazing. And we're so blessed as well to have such great doctors. And
absolutely.
Like, the medical industry is doing such great things.
Definitely. A really great children's hospital and stuff like that. So
that's fantastic. The community that you mentioned that you're sort of part of, and how they do different sort of things for different age groups, what kind of things have been the best for Ari? Are there any, what kind of groups and things do they do together? Like, tell us a little bit more about that.
So for him, I would say it's probably the camp more than anything. Yeah. So every year they will run a camp, which will be, either at, in Halliday. This year it was actually in the Bickley Valley at the outdoor centre there.
He recently went, didn't he?
Recently went. So they'll have, animals come in that they get to play with, and they get to be around other children in wheelchairs because that's just not actually very common.
No.
Ari is the only one at his school and has been the entire sort of 6 years that he's been there.
Yeah.
And so, they do all sorts of things. They'll run also just little school holiday programs too. So you'll go there for the day and they build little robots, or they do like crafts and arts, and
just keep his mind active, get his mind off everything, be a kid.
Always thinking of different things to keep them engaged, and for them to have a good time all together and stuff, which is really nice.
That's amazing. That's really good. I'm so happy to hear that they've got groups like that out there for kids like Ari.
Absolutely.
And Bree, I guess, where do you find sort of the strength to keep you going during maybe tougher days or harder times if you ever go through them?
Yeah, I guess just I've got a supportive husband.
Yeah.
So I lean on him a lot. My best girlfriends, having those girls is also like just having someone to be like, hey, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Get it off your chest. So having friends has been great, and just, also family. Like, if things are tough at home or anything, they're like, hey, let us have the kids for the weekend and just go reset. Go have a massage.
Yeah, that's little
do what
things
you need
like that.
To do. All of those little things, just they add up.
They add up, yeah. And I think, do you think more parents should not be shy away from asking for help? And if they ever needs, like you said, a day to themselves, or need an extra hand with dinner or taking the kids to school?
Yeah, I think it's important. I think sometimes people expect you just to, I don't know, do it all yourself, or you might feel like you need to do it all yourself. But people are usually like, when people say, hey, is there anything I can help with? Like taking them up, it's definitely not a weakness, it's a strength.
It's a strength, yeah, exactly. And are there any resources or support systems that you wish were more accessible or available to families like yours? Or do you think they already exist, or they're already pretty good? Do you think there's anything else you'd like to see change or be different?
Probably the only thing that I would say could potentially be different is maybe when you are at the hospital and you're going through that initial diagnosis stage, that maybe if the hospital actually had more resources, because we weren't told about the groups, we kind of figured that out on our own. So that would be like the only critique, if any. They're probably delivering kind of terrible life-changing news all the time, and so you probably become a little bit immune to it.
Yeah, they might not realise in that moment. The doctor's also very, you know, they just want to give you the facts and the information.
Facts, and it's like, well, you've just like given us this information that's going to change our lives like literally forever. And so, like, what can we do? Where can we go? Who can we talk to? Like, that's the piece of the puzzle for us that was missing. But that also might have changed in the last 8 years since Ari's diagnosis came through. So
I think you're right. Like, I think after hearing, like, such, you know, shocking news, if they could, if you know, they were able to say, look, but there is help, there's this, at least it kind of ends it on something where we know where we can turn from here. Our life it's not like everything's over and we have to, it's finished, you know. We have hope and we know where to go.
Definitely.
And how has the Build Now Foundation impacted your family's experience?
Yeah, so it's impacted our experience in a really positive way. When we built our house, which was 10 years ago now, we didn't know that we were going to have a child in a wheelchair. We've received 2 diagnoses in this house while we've been there.
And you didn't plan for having a wheelchair accessible house.
No
one ever does. No.
So, you know, it's just normal to usually have a step in your house somewhere, as we've found. But so we went through like changing a lot of things, but the thing that we were unable to change was the fact that, you know, we had tiled hobs in our showers, which was just what you did. I think these days it's actually people are kind of moving away from that a little bit, which is really great.
No, it's becoming a thing that everyone's, and you know what's not normally the reason why? Because of the cleaning. They just want something less to sort of clean.
Yeah. But it's a win-win.
But it's a win-win, exactly.
It's a win-win. Yeah. So for people in the future who might come across some sort of accessibility issues, like it's just going to be a good thing. But so, you know, we had, when we built the house, we were fortunate enough, like it was one of those deals at the time where it was like build 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, but get an extra bathroom for free, sort of thrown in. It was like a little.
So your house has 3 bathrooms.
It was 3 bathrooms, and so his room has like a bathroom attached, and so it was just nice to be able to have him have this space that's set up just for him. You know, it's got his bidet and it's got you know his handrails, and it's got this accessible shower now that we can kind of wheel his chair in and out of. So no, it's been really incredible.
So obviously before then you wouldn't realise how much just a bit more of a difficulty it is just getting them into the shower and having a shower, and that's why creating a space, that's why I love what Build Now does, because they'll tailor their experience, you know, tailor what's needed for the child itself to make their environment more comfortable, more accessible, easier for them. We want to give them spaces where, you know, they are happy and then it's easy.
Yeah. No, that's certainly been our experience.
And so he's enjoying the bathroom. It's much easier for him. Yeah.
No, he loves it. It's been a game changer for him.
Oh, that's amazing. So good to hear. And I wanted to touch on something really special that happened, I think, a couple years ago. Ari was chosen as one of the Telethon Little Stars. So I'm sure that was a really incredible experience and a really amazing moment for your family.
Yeah.
For anyone who might not know, Telethon is one of WA's biggest charities. They raise millions each year to support sick children and their families. Could you tell us a little bit about what that was like for you, Bree, when you first found out that Ari was chosen as one of Telethon's Little Stars? Experience must have been really exciting.
Yeah, it was super exciting. So I don't even remember how we initially got involved with Telethon. But Ari, you know, he was this gorgeous little blonde, cute little boy. And so, you know, he used to be photographed quite a lot, I think, in the neuromuscular community and that type of thing. And how we ended up becoming a part of Telethon, I really don't remember how it happened, but we did anyway. And so he was nominated, it was back in 2022 when he was 7, and ended up being chosen as one of the Little Stars for that year. And it's a really full-on experience to anyone who does go through it. There's a lot of filming and a lot of, you know, and we're still, like, to this day a part of it. You know, Ari filmed a segment just yesterday. You know, he was on air at 7 a.m. and
which I'm sure he loved.
He absolutely loves it. But yeah, you're really a part of that family forever. And it's really nice to be able to give back. And even just seeing last night, $90 million raised, like
incredible.
It is so incredible, and it just really fills my heart up, like that we just are in a state that's just so supportive of sick kids.
We're very, very blessed here in WA.
Blessed.
Was it a good experience as well? Like, did he love being with the other kids, and did he get along with them well, and meeting new families?
Yeah, he gets along. I mean, he still talks to Leo and Emily on Kids Messenger and that type of thing. And with Leo also having a type of muscular dystrophy, they were both at the camp recently.
Nice.
And so they got to hang out again, which was really cool.
So friends will have for life.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
amazing.
Sure.
And what was sort of like, I guess, that journey for you? You said that, it was quite full on. Was it, you have your other son as well. Did you say Ashton, was it?
Yeah.
Did he get involved in it at all? Did he like being part of the experience, or your husband? Like, was it a real big family thing?
It was a big family thing. Yeah. So you kind of spend like all the time filming and stuff leading up, because there's a lot of content that gets filmed beforehand. And then that particular weekend, you're sort of there from Friday to Monday. You kind of have a day afterwards just to sleep in and recharge on that last Monday.
Which I'm sure you need.
Oh, absolutely, because it's a really full-on weekend, but super rewarding. The whole family loved it. We were so well taken care of, and, you have access into the green room, and so there's unlimited coffee for the adults. And,
right, so they get everyone involved.
Everyone involved, and everyone's just like, I don't feel like anyone has to be there. People choose to be there.
Yeah, I know
so
what
you're just
you mean.
a part of this like really just beautiful experience. I don't think anyone could have a negative telethon experience.
Yeah, that's so good to hear.
Yeah.
What we found really since starting the Build Now Foundation is that we hear a lot of people do want to get involved. People even come to me and they're like, oh, Claudia, what can I do? How can I give back? What are some ways that people can get involved to support families that might be going through a similar experience? Do you have any advice for people out there?
So in ways that Build Now could
support? The ways that just anyone that sort of wants to give back to families, like whether it be through obviously financial donations, help all the time.
Yep.
But is there any other ways that you think that people can like just support families that are going through similar experiences, like reach out, like you said, could it be just through offering, to take your kids to school one day, or getting involved in either different charities or community groups out there?
I think absolutely money donations is obviously the easiest way, but like definitely through any community outreach kind of programs and that type of thing, I think is quite helpful too.
Yes.
Would I ever say no if people wanted to drop off some meals or stuff? If things are a bit hard, I'd never say no. It's like the same when you have a baby. People are like, can we drop off some food? Absolutely. Anytime, drop off food.
Yeah.
But, I think that's probably the easiest way.
The easiest way, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that like in your view, are there different communities out there that can better understand families that are going through similar situations to you, or like better understand Ari's diagnosis? Like, do you ever find troubles, I guess what I'm asking, Bree, with like people, not accepting Ari, or like being afraid to go up, talk about what, what diagnoses that kids might have? Like, do you think that people should change their mentality towards it at all? Or do you find that people are really receptive and good?
I've found that
at the schools,
our experience with Ari has been very receptive and quite good. I think maybe some people don't want to say, oh, what's wrong with you, or what have you got, sort of thing. But then some people do. But I feel like that mentality is already shifting.
It is, yeah.
And I think the more exposure that you have to something, the more it just becomes normal too. Like all of these children at Ari's school, they're growing up with having a child in a wheelchair in their class, and he goes to a normal school. Yeah. Like it's not like a special education type school. Yeah, he's not segregated into any other, sort of learning environment or anything. And so like they'll probably have questions, and maybe they'll ask him direct, or they'll ask the teacher. But our experience has been pretty positive, actually. I don't think it's not like you are segregated like where maybe you were 20 or 30 years ago.
But I think now as well, like with the Build Now Foundation and charities like, that are out there, Telethon, it's becoming so much more, encouraged to talk about and not shy away from kids that have, say, special needs or going through disabilities. Yeah.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah. And finally, what sort of message would you like to send to any other families that are going through similar challenges, Bree, or maybe have just heard of, a a diagnosis that their little one has. Is there anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, from my own experience, just lean on other people, reach out for help. It's definitely a strength and not a weakness. And, you know, if you have people around you, I mean, even I'm always happy to catch up with people for a coffee. And if they're going through something, I mean, whether that's for themselves or their children or whatever it might be, there's always people that are willing to help if you want it.
Yeah, and so just to know that you're not alone as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, whether that's online through forums or Facebook groups or, you know, through charity organisations or whatever it might be, like there's definitely help. So
yeah, that's so good to hear. And there is, and you know, you guys are a pillar for that you are obviously such strong parents. And, you know, like I said, I've never met little Ari, but he honestly has the biggest personality and smile, and I can see he really does light up a room. So he's the happiest little kid. Thank you so much, Bree, for sharing your story with us today. Hearing about Ari, his incredible spirit and personality, and seeing how your family has navigated this journey with so much love is really inspiring. Your experience not only highlights some of the challenges that you go through, but also the joy and the strength and the hope that can come in tougher times. I know your story will resonate and with so many people and comfort other families that are going through similar experiences. So thank you.
You for having me.
No problem. To all of our listeners, I encourage you to consider how you might support families like Bree's. You can visit the Build Now Foundation's website to learn about other projects, or simply go out to the world and offer kindness and understanding in your own community. Every bit of support and compassion makes a really big difference. So thank you everyone again for tuning in, and we look forward to sharing more stories that motivate and inspire. Together, we can help build a better world for these beautiful kids and their families. Thanks, Bree.
Thank you.
No worries.